Hi, today I wanted to do some juicing for the movements in the game because currently, let me show you, we detect obviously invalid moves. No, I'm currently pressing left and right here, and obviously those are invalid moves, so the player doesn't move. Or here, for example, I'm pressing down. Or for example, here I'm trying to lift the heavy box and I cannot do it. But the game limits itself to simply ignore the invalid moves. But I wanted to add some effect here. I separated the file with the move effects. And I need, for example, as a minimum, a bounce for the invalid moves, or more involved gestures of the player for the impossible liftings and etc. And I want later to add different twinnings for the falling stages, making, let me show you. Currently, I'm falling linearly. The fall movement is linear, but I want to accelerate a bit in the first fall and decelerate a bit in the last one, so it's a bit more natural, or perhaps the deceleration is too fake, but at least I want to accelerate the fall in the first meter or so. But that's, I'm not sure, because it's a bit subtle. But let's do the bounces. Using the current, let's see, in the move function, we have several places when we return false that we, for example, here we are detecting that we want to go into a wall. So in this case, we will add a new effect similar to the slide effect. So we will duplicate this. Let's see. And let's call it bounce. We need the position. We will not need, but we need the distance to bounce, and I think that's enough. And this is a float. And instead of twinning the global position, we will twin the position. I think it's, yeah. Let's, the position, and set as relative, and we need to multiply this by the distance, and the time, let's make it short, or perhaps multiply by the distance, I think, because yeah, that way it will be linearly related to the animation time. Okay, now we move that distance, and we must move the opposite distance after that. I think that should work. So in this case, for example, we must append a new bounce with the current stage and the player. Let's try this. Let's see. This case is when we are moving downwards, so this should work. Perfect. It's a bit too fast. So we will multiply. Let's see. Distance. Okay, I think it's nice. Perhaps a more subtle distance here. Let's add a variable, bounce distance, so we can tweak it later. Okay, now we need to detect other situations when we return false. For now, we will use the same bounce effect for all of them, but later we will customize. Okay, now this should, let me see, perfect. It's too short now. I think yeah, like in this case, obviously we should also animate the crate because the player is holding it. But yeah, I think this works. But it's a bit. Let me see. Player bounce distance. Let's make it bigger. For some reason, it was not taking the change. Now it took it, but let's see. Yeah, for some reason it was not. Yeah, I think 0.2 is the best. Is the best value. And here, the time. The time should be a bit. No. Let's use like before. Yeah, I think that's a nice effect. Now, let's analyze each case because okay, let's search for bounce. Okay, this is a simple case. We are not holding anything, so this is correct. Now we have lifted things, so let's see, move effects receives a null 3D. Okay, this is general. This could be applied to any object. So let's add similar bounces for all the lifted. The same for each thing, and this in this case, this is the case when we are holding something, so we can test it. This is when the crate, below the crate we are lifting, is in the yeah. So glue, in this case, for example, if we are, sorry, if we are trying to lift this box, this is this is interesting because the two movements are sequential and they wait. Yeah, we should what if we divide the bounce effect into two? Sorry, if we add the first, we remove this and we add the first bounce, and let's see, I added this function and this dictionary to manage this, because not all the directions will be the same. I'll show you in a moment. So we add the first bounce and then the second bounce. This is interesting. Perhaps I could now let's call it SemiBounce. So we are explicitly naming the thing. So when we want to do bounces, we clear and do this. Okay. So we need in this case, let me see. Yeah. Let me do the same. We add self and then we add the crates in the opposite direction, and then we do the bounces, and this should, let's remove the rest for now because we are changing that. So let's test if this works in that situation. Perfect. We want to lift this group, but we cannot. So the boxes, perhaps the boxes should move less than the player in this situation. So let's reflect that. We should have, this is interesting. We could accept only a vector tree here and not a distance, and use directly the direction here. Let's call it distance. Time is distance. Length. Okay. So when we use this, we add, let's see, we are storing the direction times bounce distance. I think I can multiply this. This should work, but let's test it, obviously. Vector 3 and vector 3i. Yeah, this let's see. This is a problem. Obviously, we were treating this as, yeah, I think this should work. Okay, in this case works, and in the other case, okay, nice. Now the player tries to move and the boxes move less. Okay, this should work. Let's do the same for all the rest. Okay, we did the same in all the rest of the situations. Let's test it. This is, yeah, this tries to move continuously because, yeah, that's a problem. Vertically, and it's not a problem because I'm only taking, the game only accepts the just pressed input, but horizontally it accepts the pressed input, so it tries to move many times. We could, in these cases, we could, let me see, using flags is a bit then just fail will be set every time. Let's, you know what, just in case, we reset it, and we set it here, and in the play input we, let me see, in the input, yeah, in left and right we add these conditions. So let's see, yeah, perfect. When we fail only once. We bounce only once, but we can move continuously if we keep the arrows pressed, except when we fail. Perfect. Nice. I think this is a nice progress. I will remove all these print statements. I think this is nice progress. I will make the rest of the effects later, or perhaps in a future video. Thanks for watching. Let me know if you have some idea about this, or have some question. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and share the videos or the channel with people that could learn something about game development or my style of of programming. Thanks.